because of that, when I got home, I saw this same guy dressed like Michael Myers in all black. He didn't have a knife. Michael Myers used a knife. He didn't have a knife with the glasses. I don't remember seeing powder with a sharp hat. But it was always in the cemetery. She said that this was a boogeyman.
All right, well, hello and welcome to Haitian Holistic.
Nous déjà connaissons Elzando depuis le passé YouTube net ensemble. Hi guys.
Well, thank you for coming.
Keep having you.
I'm gonna start, right, because I'm a little bit older than you. And I'm not really sure how I came across you online. But I came down here and I saw you and I said, I have to come out and I have to support you as a young man who is doing beautiful things in the Haitian community. And that's why I wanted to interview you, because I see the work that you're doing in the community as a American in the Haitian Vodou community. I know that it is the sweet, but I wanted to get another side of me by some good people that say okay. Okay, so first question is, what is your spiritual life?
My spiritual name is Juada. It's one of the first tattoos I got ever.
Okay, and what does that mean to you?
Juala, I found out that Juala meant the day is here, the day will come. So the reason I actually got it is because in 2020 or 2019, I caught COVID.
Oh.
I caught COVID and I was in the hospital. Nobody knew that for 22 days. I passed out at work and they told me when I got there that I probably was not going to make it. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't sleep. They took me to an upper stairs room and the older people that was in the room with me got it. They did die. It was to the point I couldn't sleep at night. And every time I did get sleepy from being in the hospital, like this time it was like 10 days, the doctor kept waking me up. And I was like, I gotta speak. Those that way every time you sleep, your heart stops. So they kept me up. And then I got frustrated by like the second week, which was like 14 days. And I said, I'm leaving. And it was a Haitian nurse was like, Souvli maman cry, if you want your mom to cry, leave. She was like, she saw hey we. And I felt emotional because she was an older lady and I stayed. And I remember it was like probably like on a Tuesday or Saturday. One day I just woke up with just like this strength, which was like probably like the 3rd day. And then the doctor came in, they was like, we gotta retest you because it's like, I guess the results that they did that day was like perfect. Like that's somebody that just came from COVID.
Okay.
So he came back that same night. It was an overnight. He was there on the overnight shift. And his name was Carl, which is my name.
Okay.
And then he did the test. He was like, if I wake up like this, the next day I can actually breathe. He came the next day, we did the test and I was perfect and I left. So after I got out, my mom didn't want tattoos, she didn't want a piercing, she didn't want another patient. And I was like, you know, I'm getting a tattoo. And then I got the Juana with the crown.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself, about your upbringing, where you were born, where you grew up, and then later.
About myself. Okay, first I was born here, born and raised here, guys. My parents are Haitian, both. I have an older brother. He's Haitian also. He was born in Haiti. My upcoming was always food. Everything around me evolved with the food. Everything my mom touched had a prayer. Everything she touched was something mystical behind her life. It meant something. And a lot of the stuff around us became fragile because she wanted us to take like, this is that, you have to this, you have to that. So what actually gave me interest was how my mom just took everything around us and made it so like spiritual, like mystical. I was like, yeah, what's behind it?
Okay.
So that gave me my interest in voodoo. After that, I would say I didn't really have a big childhood. No, I didn't. My mom kept me, not my older brother. She kept me like indoors because I'm gay. So she wanted to protect me. When I was younger, I used to think like she was torturing me. But growing up and seeing how a lot of gays turned out, I see she wanted my knee not to fall in that. And I cherish that so much now because it's a mess now.
Okay.
You know? And the respect that I have even from straight men or like from people around me is because the way the education my mom gave me to make sure that I didn't fall in those maze, not to be in gossiping, not to be in back and forth, not to be in people that being a trust, because it's rare. They always say, you know, gays are not trustworthy. My city potai, you can't trust them. They hypocrite this. My friends can't say that about me. And that's because of my mom. So she tightened me so tight. It's like even up into high school, 12th grade year, my mom kept picking me up. I didn't know how to catch a bus. I couldn't get on the school bus. I couldn't get on the Puckett bus. So she did tighten me up, and now I'm thankful because I'm like 31 now, and that's those things are stuff. When I have kids, I only pass on. After that, what? I'm a shy person, and I even don't know shy. I'm very shy. I don't want to say antisocial because when I'm around people and I'm comfortable, I can, be in the mix, but I'm very antisocial. I'm shocked.
So, when did you decide to serve and carry on the legacy, if you will?
When did I decide to serve? I think I decided to serve before I even knew what serving had in it. I was like in elementary, and I just knew I wanted to be what my mom was.
Okay, so that leads to another question. Because you're kind of like a PK kid, a preacher's kid. But instead, you're a mama was kid. Exactly. So, what's the question? I have a question. How did being a PK kid shape your relationships, your friendships, and your ultimate lifestyle?
I actually lost my first relationship for why? Because at the time, my mom had a Botanica, and I recorded. You know how I used to have how you would have to record a ringtone on your voicemail? I had this eyeball song on my voicemail. Like, it was a 2-year relationship. And one day, the first time the person called me, and I did not pick up, and they heard eyeball. And then he left a voicemail saying, "What is that?" Like, and then I was like, "Yeah, my mom is a mabo." But by that time, I was like, "Onga." And he was like, "What?" I would never forget that. He said, "What?" The call hung up, and I called back and went straight to voicemail. I didn't even know what block it was. I don't know if he still sees me. I've never ran across his page. Never again.
Ever again?
Never. He said, what? I remember after what he was like, "You want my people against us? Hi, Christian."
And then that.
I never had a chance to explain to him. I never had a chance to talk. That was it. The last. That was like in 2013.
Real? How do you feel like, aside from intimate relationships, your friendships, like how have
my friends, to be honest, all of my American friends love it. I had American friends growing up because of the certain stuff that they went through. They actually gravitated towards that, and it was like, "Damn, Carl, why you didn't teach us that like when I was in middle school with us?" Like, and because of what I used to hear, like criticism of how kid thought Vodou was, I was afraid to share that.
Why?
Because even me, I got it from fellow classmate. I was in the first grade. I'll never forget that. But when she was explaining to me about the giddy, she was terrified. And when I went to see that night, I was terrified. But I remembered it was around, she said, that giddy came. She didn't know giddy. I know giddy now. She said that this was a boogeyman. It was boogeyman. I was at school. Boogeyman. We used to call the boogeyman Mike Three Backs. Because in elementary, we thought the boogeyman was Michael Myers. And she was like, when Michael Myers come and her dad, she said his face was white and Michael Myers had a white mask. But she said he had glasses and he had a sharp hat. Me, when I go home around October going into November, my mom's getting when he comes, he has a white powder, he has glasses, he has a hat. And I'm like, well, she was things to see these things to at home.
Where?
Without even knowing this is the same thing. Oh. But she would give me the spirit name, and the spirit's name was Netwai.
Really?
So I know somewhere that Netwai Lakwa was served somewhere else. I just don't know where. Because I never ran across it. I never told him about that either. But I'll be weird like, damn, who else served Netwai? Because I heard that. And because of that, when I got home, I saw this same guy dressed like Michael Myers in all black. He didn't have a knife. Michael Myers used a knife. He didn't have a knife with the glasses. I don't remember seeing powder with a sharp hat. But it was always in the cemetery. Where the cemetery was, in my backyard. I was so scared, guys. Basically, my backyard and running. But running, when I turn around, I'm still in the same place. So what I did, because I know how to draw, I drew the picture that I saw. And I put Nitwa. I didn't know what Lakwa was. So the first time I saw the Lakwa was at Sibanglunta. But I remember my mom's giddy said all of the brothers are Kwada. And I was like, hey. I put Lapa on your hand and leg. So I never had the other.
Laban. Wow.
I would never forget.
Once you got to know,
that mean the spirit gravitated towards me,
right?
Without any even, I was still the enemy. This was like if it was at kindergarten, it had to be the first grade.
Okay.
Because this was at Lakeview Elementary, and I remember my first grade year. Unless I probably failed, which was possible. My first grade year, I remember I did at Edison. So this had to either be kindergarten or before kindergarten. Never saw the guy anymore. After I drew the picture, I wrote Netwai Lakwa. Never saw the neck.
Oh, okay. So how would you say then your personal spiritual journey? Yeah. Because you said that your mom kind of made everything sacred and you had to do this. But for you personally, when do you recall it beginning for you?
I would say probably, I think I was in elementary again.
Elementary school.
My spirit used to come and be little signs. But it was from elementary. And it's moved to some elementary. Because I'm going in November, my mom also had kitty parties.
Okay.
So she used to tell her to stay out the room, and me, I'm the type of person who would tell her to stay out. I didn't know why. I was there. So Margarita would listen, like, I could go in here, but I go look, and when I go and I see animals and I expect sacrifices, I see this on their forehead, but oh, I want to do that too. I don't know why, I just loved it. I just see right, I loved it. My mom would take me out for my birthday and have the gated party at night. I still want to be at the gated party. I didn't care about my break during the day. I want to be at that party. I want to be at the drums when the people, because you know, gated is so funny. It's like, I love when they come, they have on the mask, they have on that stuff, they put on stuff that they see. And as a child, that was like, damn, that's funny, without even knowing what was behind. But the real experience came after I became a
Real time. Not before.
because the experience that you have before is not the same after you get.
No.
No.
Okay, so you have a YouTube. All right. Okay. What inspired you to start your channel?
What inspired me to start my channel was actually a good friend of ours, Woodsy. His name is Woodsy. He was big. Growing up, I wanted to be like a Woodsy. His name is Aquino de Bonga. I wanted to be like it because even from Haiti, he came to Miami. Everything just triggered him. He was the spotlight of everybody's ceremony. And when I started growing up a little bit, who used to be like, because he's he's an homosexual also, they said, I don't want to say compare, because I was not doing nothing that he was doing at the time. But I guess when he would not be here, I reminded him of,
Okay.
he was the only person that recorded. I don't remember how many people used to record like their parties unless they had like a personal person to come film. But he, on his phone, he would film. If you go on his page right now, his page is still Aquino de Bonga on YouTube. You'll see all of the old Miami ceremonies. If you want to see like an old Ido Anuba, Aquino de Bonga.
Yeah.
And because of that, I remember I used to speak to him. He kept those as memory. I was like, damn, Colin. My first videos used to be the mess. But he taught me, he said, film like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that, he actually like chose to go on another route, like to focus on the other stuff in his career, his life.
Mm-hmm.
But me, I love to go. I was like, this is what I'm saying.